Everything in their path was devoured by the flames, leaving behind the heavy scent of burned wood. In moments, the comforting warmth shifted, morphing into a scorching fire that engulfed the hallways, sneaking its way up the walls. The roar was deafening, and it was followed by the splintering sound of the wooden supports giving away. As the ember sparks illuminated the scene, dust and smoke spread, and the crackling of the fire grew with each moment. She dashed through the corridor, aware of the dampness of her shirt clinging to her as sweat dripped down her neck. Damp strands of her ginger hair brushed against her prominent cheekbones. A whimper escaped her lips as adrenaline coursed through her heart hammering against her ribs. The smoke, thick and acrid, clawed its way into her lungs, forcing a painful cough as her eyes watered. "Kate!" yelled someone. Amidst the inferno, a chunk of the ceiling fell with a resounding thud, its impact releasing a cloud of dust that swirled with orange sparks. "Kate! Where are you?" With a crackling roar, the fire blocked her exit as she watched it devour all in its path. As pain and fear constricted her heart, the momentary thought of her end flashed to her mind. A shiver sneaked down her spine, and the first sob escaped as tears streamed down her cheeks. Kate recalled the start of it all, and she felt the weight of responsibility. As she stared at the flames roaring in her path, guilt and regret washed over her, making her quivering lips tremble even more. She stole a glance over her shoulder, seeing the debris blocking the way she had came from. "Damn it!" hissed Kate. With her heart hammering against her ribs, she steeled herself and ran towards the heat of the roaring flames. As the last second tickled away, she dove forward, the fire's heat washing over her, a searing, uncomfortable touch. She crashed onto the floor, the rough wood scraping her skin, but she was up in an instant and raced towards the voice calling her name. "Matt!" Kate raced through the corridors, coughing as she pushed through the suffocating black smoke, her arm protecting her face. Tears ran down her face, slick with sweat, creating dark trails on her flushed skin. As the ceiling crashed down with a deafening roar, the crackling flames spurred her to run even faster. When she arrived at the stairs, she could feel the intense heat from the fire that had consumed the wood, blocking her path. As the building crumbled with a deafening roar, she looked back and realized she couldn't go back. "Kate!" yelled Matt. Her heart pounded in her chest as his voice echoed up from the downstairs. She winced, the pain evident in her eyes, and she pressed her lips into a thin line, silently hoping he wasn't hurt. As she gazed at the burning stairs, a shiver crawled down her spine, the crackling of the flames echoing in her ears as she prayed for a miracle. "I'm here!" shouted Kate. Dark smoke filled the air, scratching her throat until she coughed, and she felt a squeezing pressure on her chest. She was trapped, and tears streamed down her face as the crushing weight of her situation consumed her, leaving her wonder if her end was near. "Matt! I'm here!" "Kate! I'm coming!" screamed Matt. She coughed, the scent of the dust filling her lungs as the ember hue enveloped the staircase. The steps groaning in the protest with passing moments. Bringing courage into her heart, she started slowly climbing down the stairs, carefully examining each one. The fire's heat and the sound of the old wood burning made her doubt herself, and she pressed her lips into a thin line. The unbearable heat wrapped around her, causing her clothes and hair to cling uncomfortably to her skin. As she silently begged for help, her heart was pounding so hard she thought it would leap from her chest. Burning sensation in her lungs made her cough again, the sound echoing in her ears and leaving her feeling weak and disoriented. Every happy memory of Matt flooded her mind, and a feeling of warmth, like a gentle fire, ignited in her heart. With her lips pressed tight, Kate moved forward, driven by the urgency of knowing there was something worth fighting for. Suddenly, the old wooden stairs groaned and buckled beneath her feet. With a loud crack, the devouring flames spread, and her scream was the only sound that cut through the chaos. She lunged for the railing, her fingers clamping down as she watched the stairs collapse in a cloud of dust and a resounding crash. A whimper escaped her lips as the scorching heat was burning her fingertips. Oh god, oh god, oh god, whispered Kate under her breath. Her fingers, still burning from the railings, yet slowly released their hold. Her heart was pounding as she recalled Matt's love. She remembered how he made her feel special, even through her moody times. Suddenly, she felt herself plummeting, her fingers scorched by the intense heat as she lost her grip. Smoke swirled around her as the air rushed by, driving her into the heart of the fire that was consuming everything below. She closed her eyes, the last thought of the day echoing the silence as she knew she was doomed. A solitary tear traced down a path down her cheek, fueled by the thoughts of her boyfriend. Suddenly, she felt a strong pull, and the cold air sent shivers down her spine. As she opened her eyes, she was met with a sight of Matt, his eyes illuminated by an amber glow, holding her gently. Matt? Questioned Kate. As she looked around, she saw the sparkling mist, like a shimmering shield protecting them from the crackling fire. A gasp escaped her lips, and her eyes widened in shock, reflecting the fear she felt. She strained against him, pushing with all her strength she possessed in a frantic attempt to break free. Let me go! Kate! He slowly lowered her to the floor, his eyes following her as she nervously took a step back. Deep down, he was hurt by her reaction, and he felt a pang in his chest. Yet a part of him understood everything. I'm not like them, Kate. I would never hurt you. You are. Oh my god! Muttered Kate. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart as she looked at the sparkling mist as a panic attack loomed. As she wrapped her arms around herself, she moved her hands in a comforting way, and Matt watched her, his eyes reflecting her pain. Kate, I'm not like them. I will explain everything to you, but we have to get out of here. Please. He reached his hand out to her, his voice a soft plea as he tried to convince her to take it. She swallowed, trying to think. The love she felt for him was unable, calm the sea of emotions. Against her logic, it was unable. The flames roared and slammed against the magical dome, and her lips trembled from the heat. Kate, Kate, please. As she looked into his eyes, she saw the familiar spark and the blue shimmering like a cool, deep ocean, causing her to take a deep breath. Her mind screamed a warning, but her heart and body longed to be held by the man she loved. She slowly placed her burned fingers on his palm, the comforting coldness immediately washing over her, easing the pain. The sparkling mist enveloped her skin, its eternal presence slowly soothing and healing. A gasp escaped her lips, and she tried to pull away, but his grip tightened as he wrapped his arm around her waist. It's okay, Kate. It's okay, whispered Matt. He slowly began to lead them through the burning corridors, the sound of the building running around, knowing there was a little time for them to escape. The flames roared, a cacophony of hidden sound as they clawed at the magical barrier. Soon, a ray of light pierced the suffocating darkness, and with the exit inside, Kate's heart blossomed with a hope of escape.